1 second. Camera rolling.
एक सेकंड सॉरी ये पॉडकास्ट का इंट्रो है.
Action.
Literally, I was in tears on my flight back to India. So you built to sell, and a lot of times you built it, you sold it, and you sold it 15 years back, and you don't care. Working at a place like McKinsey, and then coming to a family-owned business set up in India, it is night and day. You're a square peg in a round hole. Pay the lowest for our hotel rooms, and we expect the most.
Yeah. So one more thing where I think hotels will always stand out is for celebrations and functions. Airbnbs, we cannot host people.
Yeah. You're going to have a very seamless checkout experience. You don't have to bother. You just go straight from your room. Someone will take your bags. Your car will be waiting, and you can get to the airport. For building in cost, in time, and ensuring you have product market fit. That's it. Why should we all live in these small rooms separately when we can all share a big living room together, and we'll have a pool, or we'll have a nice deck, and we can all spend time together. And now people are saying, look, we don't always trust the developer, but we trust the brand. Our hotel, our asset is the first Green Key certified hotel in the entire country. The hotel part was more accidental. Thousands of people walking through your doors, who you need to impress at every given moment. If you can just improve marginally every day, by the end of the year, you will be so much better.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Jam. Today is our 5th episode, which is going to be all about hospitality and hotels. Luxury hotels, I might tell you. Our guest today is very special. He's the Vice President of the Shree Naman Group, who are real estate developers and are into the hotel business. I am very excited. I hope you are too. And before moving on to the episode, share, subscribe and follow our channel. Hi Harsh, welcome to our show. We're very happy that you agreed on attending to this, and we're very excited for the podcast.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here.
Okay, so we'll start with your journey a bit. Like you were, on your path towards your dream job at McKinsey, you were living your dream life in the US. And then now you've joined your family business, which is real estate. So what made you shift? Where was the point where you thought, this is it now, I think it's time to go back home and get into the business and all that?
No, it's a good question. I spent 9.5 years in the US. Between my undergrad, I worked after. I got kicked out because of my H-1B visa. I didn't have it. Came back to India for a bit. Went back for my MBA. Then worked again, and was really loving my life in New York most recently. But I think it was, for me, India was always a calling, and it was always my anchor. So my family lives here. I've grown up here. I'm quite patriotic. I follow, for the longest time, I used to do writing and reading and internships in politics and policy. And I also knew that, this is a unique time. We are going to go through over the next 10 to 20 years a kind of economic boom and a pace of growth that we're very lucky to have, and not many countries have.
Exactly.
So if I put it all together, at some point last year, I said, okay, I'm turning 30. It's a inflection point. I'm completing almost 10 years in the US. Now I need to take a call. Where do I want to be building both my business and personal life long term? And the more I thought about that, the answer became very clear. And India was kind of calling me back. I wanted to be closer to family. I wanted to be in my home country. I wanted to build a business here. For me, and I've worked there for so long, but anything that was India related always meant more to me. So it became very easy for me to kind of make that decision. The transition took its time. I have a lot of friends there. I have a life there. So I was very upset and sad to leave. Literally, I was in tears on my flight back to India. The air hostess came and checked on me, saying, are you okay? What happened? She thought something big had happened. I said, no, I'm fine. I'll be okay. But once I came back, I think it became very clear to me that I made the right call.
Okay. So like you said, the transition took a lot of time. So was there a moment where maybe a day, maybe a moment where this is it, now I have to go? Because we think a lot, I'll go, should I go? So was there some incident or that moment where you're like, now this is it, I need to pack my bags?
No, I moved it back. Initially, I was going to move 1 year after my MBA. Then I said, okay, I'll take an extra few months. Then I took another 6 months. Then I literally left my apartment and took an apartment for 1 month, saying, give me 1 more month to close everything out.
Yeah.
But I had decided mentally that before I turn 30, I want to be back. I am not going to let it be one day after.
So 30,
And so,
turning 30
turning
was the-
30 for me, and it's not rational, but for me that was the deadline. That was the line in the sand.
So how it's been like here now when you're back, you're getting back in the business. How do you like it?
No, I think it's been a more seamless transition than I'd expected. Everyone around me, even my family, was a bit worried, saying, "Oh, this guy spends so much time in the US and
How will
he's
he eat
structured.
spicy
How will
food?"
he? No, more than that, how will he adjust to
Yeah.
the working environment, the work culture? Truly, working at a place like McKinsey, and then coming to a family-owned business setup in India, it is night and day. Okay, the cultural difference is
huge.
you can't even imagine the difference.
Yeah.
The way people work, the working style, the nature, and both have their pros and cons, but it's completely different.
Yeah.
And at this stage, it's harder for you to completely change
Yeah.
your way and style of working, to be comfortable in an environment that's different. So each has its pros and cons, and that adjustment took me a few months. And it's, in a way, it's still there. There's still, you still sometimes feel like you're a square peg in a round hole, and I'm just getting used to that. And I think people around me are also getting used to this.
Yeah. Okay.
And the other piece is, what I'm trying to do is, what I've realized is, look, there are people in our business who've been here since day one. It's been 30 years. So business started a month before I was born.
Yeah.
There's no question that their wisdom and their experience, compared to someone like me who's I've spent a couple of years in the business before, but largely my work experience and education and training has been abroad. It's there's no question that I'm the one who needs to learn and adapt, not them.
Exactly.
And secondly, in terms of working style, what I'm trying to do is carve out a niche with my own team, and kind of build that in a way and with a system and structure that will work more in sync with how I like to work.
Okay.
So it's not easy, but that's the way I'm approaching it. That, look, within an organization, if I can carve out a niche, if I can spin it out, or at least run it as an independent vessel, that to me gives me a lot more energy and excitement than trying to sit and change the way hundreds of other people work.
Yeah. Every day you figure out a new one.
Yeah,
That's how
yeah.
it goes. So I want to know, why become a hotel developer? Like, I just wanted to understand what attracted you towards that industry, like real estate, of course, but like what else was into hospitality that you wanted to go there, experience it? What attracted you most to the hotel business?
Yeah, so it's a very good question. I won't say that when I was growing up, there was never a time I would wake up and say, okay, this is what I want to do, right? I think the transition has happened more organically. Even when I was in the US, through my days in college, especially through my days in my business school, doing the MBA, every night over there and morning here, my father and I would be talking about business.
Okay.
So it became, it kind of, in my own way, I was trying to build out the expertise, stay in touch with how things are working here, give unsolicited advice on a lot of matters. And I decided somewhere that, look, I do have other interests. I could potentially go try and build a startup in a completely different field, or use a family platform as a launch pad to focus on building a business that I enjoy.
Yeah.
And build it somewhat independently. So that's what the path I chose. And given our family platform is in real estate, and the hotel part was more accidental.
Okay.
My father never ever saw himself being a hotelier or hotel developer. In fact, even his foray into real estate was accidental, but that's a whole other story.
It was a good accident.
It was a good accident, yeah. It was a good accident, but that was never part of his plans. But he literally came from nothing. So when he got that opportunity, that's what he started with. And now that's his bread and butter and what he focuses on. For me, when I was in the business, I realized the hotel aspect is exciting me more. It excites me, it interests me. I wake up, get out of bed, and that's the first thing I'm thinking about. I don't think my father's thinking about that part of the business first at all.
Yeah.
And so we've realized that, look, we have a little different interests, and there are parts of the hospitality part that I enjoy. I love the creative aspect when it comes to designing both the product and guest experience. I enjoy the fact that, you have thousands of people walking through your doors who you need to impress at every given moment until they leave.
The best
I mean, in
experience.
India, we have, it's very ironic. We, compared to a lot of other big cities in the world, we probably pay the lowest for our hotel rooms and we expect the most in terms of service and everything else, right? So it's a very hard customer to please, and I think that challenge is very exciting to me. And so, I think, and finally, there's a element of building a product that will stand the test of time. What happens in real estate, especially in our world, we often build to sell, because the business model of Mumbai real estate especially is, if you build to hold, it's very, very tough to make the economics work. So you build to sell, and a lot of times you built it, you sold it, and you sold it 15 years back and you don't care. But here now, you've built a hotel. 15 years later, that hotel has to still every day impress 1,000 people coming into your doors. And that, I think, is quite exciting, because you are building a monument. You're not just building a building. You're building a asset that needs to stand the test of time.
Yeah, because the experience is what is going to drive sales.
Absolutely,
later.
absolutely.
Yeah. So is there any particular experience or project that, solidified your passion into hospitality? Maybe you were somewhere around the country, you saw a hotel which like shook you, or maybe an experience that, made you understand that this is what I want to get in and this is what I want to do.
Yeah, quite a few. And not just in the country, even outside. I've had many experiences which have kind of given me kind of some sort of interest in elevating guest experiences, elevating products based on what I've seen in other parts of the world. And it's very, very simple things. Once I was at a conference for work. This was my first job out of college. I was working at a private equity firm in the US. Presenting something as a 22-year-old to a lot of seasoned investors and the LPs of those funds. And my sweater just completely ripped, on the side. And I'm sitting in this hotel, walking into my presentation. I'm preparing for it. It was happening in an hour. And I'm just looking at the fact that both my sweater and my shirt had a complete tear. And I didn't have any, I mean, this was the last day. I had nothing else to wear. I was like freaking out. And in the hotel, and these aren't even hotels known for their service, but someone spotted it, immediately took me to the side, called up a tailor from across the street, had him come over, asked me, how long do you have? I said, I have 60 minutes. Went, fixed it, came back and gave me the shirt, and I was able to present in time. Similarly, there have been experiences. The Oberois do this very well. Oberoi Hotel, which used to be in Dubai, they saw that, look, my shaving cream, I've been running out of shaving cream. I didn't notice it. I wouldn't have known. But they replaced my shaving cream bottle with a little note saying, we noticed that you were running out.
That is
and
so thoughtful.
We saw that you have 3 more nights and you only have this bottle. So we replaced it ourselves. Those are elements
so
of
sweet,
these personalized touches are things that have stayed with me and what I hope we can incorporate in our hotels.
Okay. So you own Sofitel BKC, right? Which was recently
Our company,
recognized
yeah.
as the best luxury business hotel in West India. So I wanted to ask, what does it take to run a successful hotel business? Like, what are the elements that go in? What strategies that y'all adapt to
Yeah.
make it reach where it is today?
So it's nuanced. Every category and every segment has a very different play. So we own two hotels in the BKC belt. One is the Sofitel, which has larger rooms, the biggest rooms in the area. It's luxury level. And then we have a mid-market hotel, the Lemon Tree, which is completely functional. Much smaller room, but very functional. So you have to, depending on the segment you're in, you have to have a different strategy. At the Lemon Tree, we don't have a lot of the frills. It's a very tiny building. So we're not focused on giving them a nice spa experience, wellness. We don't even have a full-fledged gym. It's very much like, look, we're going
Stay the
to
night,
just
yeah.
allow you to have a very seamless check-in, check-out food experience. We're going to enable you to stay the night and get your work done easily in BKC. So we're going to allow you to go seamlessly between the hotel and wherever you need to in BKC and come back at night, and you'll be in and out in 1 or 2 days. At Sofitel, we are saying, okay, look, you're coming in. We want you to see this as a place where you can do much more than just stay. We want you to live here, we want you to work here, we want you to play here. So we're going to give you spaces that allow you to do all of those things. You want to come and have a dinner, entertaining your friends and your clients. You want to go to the gym. You want to go to the spa after. You want to have a long stay experience and make this your apartment for 6 months or a year in Bombay. All of those elements are things that we focus on. But as a business hotel, you really need to get the basics right. Because people are coming in, they're fast in, fast out. They don't want to waste time in the lobby. They don't want too much of a rush. They don't want to waste time checking in. They want to be able to get to their flight in time, get to their meeting in time, and kind of just not hassle too much. So our strategies and our operations are designed to enable a very quick experience for all of that. Very functional. And then as a luxury hotel, you need to also cater to the add-on services.
So you give them a whole experience. You come, you get the whole experience in one.
Absolutely. And then if we're designing now, we're building a hotel in Goa, a resort. It's completely different outlook, right? You want people to come in, spend time in your lobby, as opposed to come in and quickly go to their rooms, which they want. You want them to spend time in your lobby. You want them to experience your outdoor deck. You want them to see the view. You want to give them a space where they can come and say, okay, this can be, I want 5-6 nights here with my kids or my broader family. And I have enough destinations within for every member of my family to enjoy. Or I want to have my wedding here for 3 nights, and I'm going to have 6 functions, and I want there to be enough spaces to give the guests a unique experience at each of the events. So you have to design 6 different venues for that amount of guests, let's say 500, 700 guests, to be able to all enjoy, and to give to ensure that you can have a self-contained wedding with 6 different events in 6 different venues at that location. So each segment, each property, depending on the location and your customers, completely different strategy.
Yeah. So now we were talking about BKC, as your hotels are in BKC. So how important does the location play? What is the most, BKC is a prime location right now. It has great connectivity. Everything is there. Airport is nearby. All the offices are there. It's a corporate hub, as we call it. So how much of a role did the location play for you, for your hotel success?
Completely. I mean, look, I'll tell you, in real estate, there's a term, it's all about location. Hotels are 70% real estate, okay? As a hotel developer and owner, our business is 70 to 80% pure real estate. Our returns are all dependent on being in the right place, being able to build on time and in cost. Then everything else follows from that. Now, of course, if you come with a completely, aligned product, where the product market fit, to use startup language, is completely not there, you're in trouble. You know, you go to a place like BKC and you try and make a 1,000 square feet room, and you try and get a rate that you get in some of these high-end luxury projects and hotels in Udaipur and Jaipur. You're not going to succeed, because the BKC person, it's like you're doing corporate business. You have big corporates taking thousands of nights every year, and then you do have some leisure travelers, of course you do, who want to be in BKC and who come, but most people who come there are coming for business, and their companies aren't going to allow them to go spend 40,000 rupees or 50,000 rupees. So you have to know your customer pretty well. And especially in India, in the big cities, every operator you speak to will tell you that people are very price sensitive. In the cities, it's like, you know, for 1,000 rupees up or down, it's a war. This was not something I experienced as much in the US. You know, the same kinds of companies that are customers, I was one of those people going into my system and taking hotels, and we had a lot of flexibility. It was like, look, you have a generous budget. If there's something $100 lower, $100 higher, it's fine.
Okay.
You take it, as long as you're not going overboard. But here, that's not the case. Here, people are very price sensitive, and there are caps, and there are, you know, protocols that you have to follow.
So, you know, can you share any specific, you know, practices that are crucial in earning that title of the best business hotel or maintaining it? I think being relevant is because now we have a lot of hotels. There are a lot of hotel developers. There are a lot of hotels coming in every day, everywhere. So what is that one thing you all follow, or you all decide on, that we need to do this, we need to have this in our content bucket so that we stay relevant?
No, it's a great question, and frankly, it's something that keeps evolving. The one thing that what we're known for is we have consistency, a very standardized guest experience. We have a lot of the people in the hotel who have been with us since the start, since the very start. So there's a huge element of familiarity. Three, we go above board. So we aren't going to let you come in and you know, just have a very standardized experience. You will always feel like there's something special being given beyond your functional stay. And fourth is, you know, we want to keep it very simple in terms of the efficiency with which you can come in and leave. So when it comes to your check-in experience, when it comes to your checkout experience, do you need to go stand in line at 12 p.m. when you're checking out with so many other people and go? You don't need to do that, right? You're gonna have you're gonna have a very seamless checkout experience. You don't have to bother. You just go straight from your room. Someone will take your bags. Your car will be waiting, and you can get to the airport. Very functional. Over time, we have now started also looking at how can we enhance this even further. Can we give you a button you press and a personalized butler to come and take care of your needs? These are things that will now be in the works. And finally, we have, you know, there's a F&B part to it that's very familiar and that's doing very well. I think compared to most hotels in the city, we have a very loyal following for some of our restaurant outlets, and we've not changed any of them since the start. You know, usually in this industry, every few years you need to change your concepts. We've kept it similar, and one of the reasons why is there are select segments for each of those outlets that really want to come. So for instance, we're one of the only hotels in the country that has one purely vegetarian restaurant. Okay, and from a operator standpoint, it wouldn't make sense. You know, the non-vegetarian items are priced higher. If you have a pure vegetarian restaurant, your alcohol sales tend to be more limited compared to a different restaurant, right? But we have a lot of people, because of the Bharat Diamond Burj next door, which is the global hub of the diamond industry, who don't want to have who don't want to be even eating in a kitchen or in a restaurant that has a kitchen that also makes non-vegetarian
non-veg,
items, even if it's in a different equipment.
Yeah.
So that itself has a very loyal following, and people come from all over the city saying, okay, no, I'll come and eat there because I know that this is in line, this place runs in line with my principles, and that gives me great comfort.
So they put trust, their
They
trust
have
in you.
full trust in that place. So you have to cater to your segment and your customer base. Now, if that diamond hub was not next to the hotel, there's no chance we would have done it.
Yeah.
But we saw that change, and it's earned its own unique place, and it wins multiple awards every year.
So you saw a gap in the market.
Absolutely.
And you spot on.
And we'll keep doing that. Now we'll look, now that we're in this post-COVID phase, we've got enough time to see how the trends are evolving post-COVID. There will be new improvements over the next 2-3 years that cater to different segments in the market as well.
Okay, so this is for our audience, like, the people who are aspiring to get into the hotel business.
Yeah.
What are a few factors that they need to incorporate to have a successful hotel business? Like, if you can help them with some strategies that you came up with, or the things that you think are a non-negotiable, that these things need to be present for you to make it big in the hotel business.
Frankly, it's not that complicated. It is challenging, but the rules are simple, especially if you're on the hotel asset ownership and development side, right? The operation side is completely different because then you're trying to build a brand. Most brands are asset light. If you're on so I can give you a little bit on either side, but if you're in our business, we made a conscious call that, look, we'll partner with the best brands in the world. Whether it's the Sofitel and Accor hotels, whether it's Soho House that we helped open in Juhu, whether it's Lemon Tree, amazing homegrown brand. But we aren't going to try and do their business for them. We will support it wherever it's needed. But we are going to focus on our core strength, which is development, investment, asset ownership, asset management. That, as I told you, is all about building in cost, in time, and ensuring you have product market fit. That's it. Most hotels built in India get one of these three things wrong. Most often, it's the first two. So, of course, if you have delays. Because you have delays, your budgets go for a toss. Once your budgets go for a toss, your ROI takes a big hit. Because for a long time, until COVID, for many years, approximately 12 years, we had a rate growth in India was not very high. It's happened post-COVID. You've seen revenge travel.
Yes.
So we would all end up spending so much money building the hotel, way more than we had anticipated, because delays are a big part of our real estate life here. Once we did that, your hotel's dead on arrival. Doesn't matter what you do, beyond a point, you're not going to be able to recover your money. So that's the part that I'm focused on trying to optimize, saying, look, we keep the costs as low as we can, and we ensure that you're running on time. And we always, as developers, get tempted. You're going to get extra FSI, 2 more floors, three more floors, so many more outlets. We'll add this, we'll add that, but the permission will come in 3 months, 6 months. So 6-month delay we can absorb. That 6-month delay often becomes a 3-year delay, and the entire project goes for a toss.
Story of every real estate
Story
developer.
Story of every real estate developer. But that's the piece that we have to be controlled. We have to control our own ambitions, our own emotions, to be able to get it done on time. And of course, you need a very, very efficient structure and system to build and execute on that. That's the name of the game.
So control your excitement.
Control. And look, it's not always the developer's fault. Being part of a family in this business, I know there are so many things and so many external factors, external agencies that can completely impact your development timelines and your entire returns, right? We've had, you've seen this as you follow real estate. You've had things that happen in one end of the city that lead the courts to stop construction
Yeah.
across the rest of the city. And our costs of capital are not low. We are
Yeah.
among the highest across
Yeah.
any industry
Most
in India.
expensive.
So sometimes we're borrowing at 15%, sometimes 18%, sometimes 24%, never below for certain kinds of opportunities.
Yeah.
Very rarely do you have a lower cost of capital than other industries, and the delays is what kills you.
Yeah, that is that. So, what is the meaning of hospitality for you? Like, can you? Oh, okay. Let's start with. Can you give examples of best hotels in Mumbai? Like the experience you've had in the best hotels.
Well, I'm biased.
Of course,
I'm
apart from
biased.
Sofitel.
Yeah, so apart from that, I would say I don't think in Mumbai we are there yet.
Okay.
Where we should be. I think it'll happen over time. A big piece in that is the willingness to pay on behalf of the customers. Customers are willing to pay you more. You are pushed to enhance the guest experience.
The spending
But the
capacity
customer
should be.
says, look, I'm not even giving you 500 rupees more, even though you are a luxury hotel and there's a lower segment hotel next door. You're not going to be incentivized. So I think that's going to happen. You're going to see that shift. We're seeing announcements of real luxury brands coming in, and they will put pressure on the business. My favorite outside of the Sofitel, I would probably say the Oberoi in Mumbai, and it has you enter and there will always
It
be
smells like luxury.
familiar faces greeting you and assisting you at every step wherever
Yeah.
you're going.
They're carrying the legacy.
There's a certain smell. There's a familiarity. There's an aura.
Okay, so Harsh, this is like it's a ancient trade that some people are saying that this hotel industry is dying. Why? Because now Airbnbs are coming up. People are preferring to have the whole property to themselves, because in Airbnbs you can rent out a villa, you can take anything, and you have your own convenience. So, and then there are capsule hotels coming in. There are a lot is coming in. So people, I think, especially after post-pandemic, they want bigger spaces. Now they want more area. They want a balcony. They want this, etc.
They want outdoor.
Yeah, they want outdoor. So do you really think that this industry is not dying exactly, but they're having to face some losses because of these new Airbnb cultures coming up? Because in real estate also we see that people want to buy a property now. They're investing in a property. They're doing it completely and they're giving it up for Airbnb because the business is picking up. It was a Western culture, but now even let's say in Mumbai, there are so many Airbnbs, so many short-term rentals.
Yeah.
So do you think that is impacting on the business of hotels, and how do you think it's going to be in the future? And
look, I think in the US and in a lot of Western countries, you've definitely seen that impact, right? And you see it, you don't even need to look at industry stats. You look at when you are talking to your friends and family and planning a trip, you'll notice that difference, because people are saying, why should we all live in these small rooms separately when we can all share a big living room together, and we'll have a pool or we'll have a nice deck, and we can all spend time together. So I think Airbnbs, villas, they allow for a certain amount of integrated experience, more touch points, more time spent together with your families, with your friends, with your counterparts than hotels can allow, the traditional hotels. So it's forcing the hotels to also rethink. I'll give you an example. You now have some of the most iconic hotels in India, who the new ones that are coming, or the recently renovated ones who are coming up with the serviced apartment concept, right? So earlier we had, I have so many people who come to Mumbai. They say, look, we're coming for an internship, or our work is bringing us here for a project for 3 months. Where do I stay? I don't want to stay in a small hotel room. I don't want to go and try and find an apartment in an old building, and I won't know whether the there's going to be a leakage. I don't know what's going to happen. I have no comfort around the standardization of service. So you have hotels now catering to that. So the Oberoi, for instance, in Nariman Point has announced that they now have a few residences as well.
Okay.
And they have more and more service departments that they're coming with. We will be ourselves looking at this concept more closely. You have startups that are coming and saying, look, we are going to use Airbnb, we're going to leverage Airbnb inventory, but we are going to be a layer on top giving complete standardization. So we are going to build a brand that tells a customer who's coming to a certain city that if you are in one of our units, we will give you an Airbnb or a VRBO or Saffron Sale or whichever. We'll give you one of those units, but you will be given a guarantee of these 10 services. You're going to definitely have air conditioning. You're going to have Wi-Fi of over a certain speed. You're going to have a chef who can come and cook your meals. You're going to have cleaning every day. And you have to pay a little bit premium to it. And you have people coming and paying that premium because I'm looking at their stats and their data. And the occupancy and rates that they are getting far higher than the Airbnbs that don't have this standardization. And it's early in that. So we're seeing that shift.
Yeah.
And if hotels don't come and do this, the startup world will. You'll have individual entrepreneurs who'll do more and more of this.
Yeah.
So you're seeing this in second homes already, by the way. In leisure markets like Goa, I'm sure you have, people who go there for trips. How many of them are staying in traditional hotels and how many of them are going and saying, no, we'll go and get a villa.
Yeah.
We'll go get a villa in Assaga. We'll go get a villa in North Goa. Right? Because the villas, you have entrepreneurs who are building inventory that is able to compete with the traditional hotel experience, but give people more because they have their own private pool, they have their own private chef, they have their own cleaner, they have services, all the hotel services. So if you're able to get a hotel service in what will feel like a nice 5-bedroom bungalow with your own pool, and get everything, all the frills associated with that, why would you go and stay in a traditional hotel? You may go for a different reason, right? So you will have the hotels now innovating to cater to that audience as well. Now we are designing a hotel in Goa, which we intend to build. So we're now thinking about, we should have 2-bedroom sky villas, 3-bedroom apartments, 1.5 bedrooms, a room with a bunk bed for 2 kids, a space for a nanny. So within the apartment, how do you create that? So we are saying, okay, look, we will give you the standardized hotel experience that you know and love. Where you can use all the facilities. You'll have this pool and that pool, and you'll have the spa, and you'll have this rooftop bar, and you can do all the things you want and what your kids want with a big kids area. But we will also give you the kind of experience you will get in an Airbnb if you want that, right? You want to have your kids and you and your nanny, everyone in that one unit so that you all can just spend time in the living room comfortably with enough space together. You can do that. That's the shift that you will see more and more happen with hotels as well.
Yeah, so that's what they'll stay. That's what my next question was, like, what are hotels going to do now to stay competitive and relevant because of all of these things coming up? But I also personally feel that it depends on the audience as well, because when we see if somebody is flying for work who has to be there for a longer term, they might go for an Airbnb or a service apartment. But there are certain people, like I personally love luxury, so I would go to a hotel. I want that dining, in-room dining. I want that spa. I want everything. So I think it depends on people also, and also the spending capacity. But I think the spending capacity slowly is kind of increasing. People are kind of leaning towards luxury right now, especially in India.
I mean, people are, depending on the segment, they are leaning towards, you are seeing a push one level higher. And that's just a consequence of the great level of income growth that we're seeing across the segments, right? And that's going to continue even more and more in the next 10-20 years. So we don't have to look far. You look at some of the other countries that have gone through this transformation. You look at China, you study what's happened there, and you can see that a lot of those trends will start hitting us as well.
For sure.
We have our own unique quirks. We have, we have a legacy of service in hospitality. And that's where I think some of the, Airbnbs and similar equivalents will struggle to meet the high expectations of service that a hotel can give and that the Indian customer demands.
Yeah. And also one more thing where I think hotels will always stand out is for celebrations and functions. Airbnbs, we cannot
Of
host
course.
people.
Yeah.
We cannot have a wedding. We cannot have a
Oh,
destination
that's a given.
wedding.
That's a
So I
given.
think that
Yeah.
is also one thing that Airbnb cannot.
Yeah.
Hopefully till now no startup has come to do
No,
that.
and I'll tell you, in terms of conferencing in MICE, we are lucky that our asset is in a place like BKC. We're right next to the newly built Geo Convention
Yeah.
Center, so we see it every day. When there's a big convention that happens, like there is just right now, actually, the entire city of Mumbai does not have enough hotel rooms to serve that function and their
Yeah.
guests. So there's a recent event, 80,000 people at the Geo Convention Center in BKC. It has choked the entire
Yes.
area. It's taking one hour to enter and exit just BKC itself, which usually should take 10 to 15 minutes. And you have hotel rooms across the city
Blocked.
completely blocked because of that.
Yeah.
We are so underpenetrated as a country, especially in our big cities from a hotel standpoint, that with the kind of growth we're now going to be seeing, the economic growth will result in a lot of more conferences, more MICE events, or what we call MICE, corporate events, more weddings. Because you're going to have bigger weddings, you're going to have people spending more. You have the Prime Minister who has said that we should keep our weddings in India.
In India, yeah.
So you're going to see now, you'll see in the next 5-7 years, a lot of new hotel inventory coming that caters to these kinds of demands.
Yeah, so that'll be there. And also, like we spoke about luxury in hotels, a lot of people are thinking on the idea of branded residences, which are in the West, not
Yeah.
here yet. What do you think? How would our country react to it? Do you think we will have a certain kind of audience who is moving towards it, or will it be a flop show, or we're not ready yet? What do you think about branded residences for India?
Yeah, so I would say we are getting there. You're seeing a change in customer attitudes and demands, right? I mean, think about it 15 years ago, when we were growing up, 15, 20 years ago. When did we ever, most of the people you would know, especially for me as well, did we ever think ki, I need my building to have a gym, to have a paddle court or a pickleball court, to have a spa, to have a salon, to have concierge services? We would have never even thought of that. I mean, this was like a distant dream that we didn't think could ever happen in India. And now, when we are building residential buildings,
These
this is
are
the
all
first thing that
necessities.
people ask for. They think, is there a gym or not?
Yeah.
Why is there no paddle court? Do you know how this is Mumbai? What do you mean? We don't have the space. We're so choked with space. But this is the kind of stuff people are asking for. They're saying, why is there no indoor pool? Why is there no outdoor pool? Where's the terrace? Where's the garden?
They want amenities at the max.
Everyone wants amenities, and they are willing to now pay a premium for buildings and properties that give them that additional amenities.
Yeah.
Now, the brands are an important factor in it, right? What does the brand come and give? The brand tells them, look, we will guarantee you that not only will the building have the amenities which you know, but these will be run very well, and we will cater to your demands and needs, like you get when you go and spend 20,000 rupees or 30,000 rupees on a luxury hotel anywhere in the country.
Yeah.
That shift is already happening. You are already seeing now branded residences make their foray into India. You're seeing that in Bangalore. You have projects announced in Mumbai. You have projects announced in Gurgaon. And some of the best brands are doing it. They're facing some challenges around how to navigate things like, resident society, right? We have unique laws. And if the building society says, I'm not going to there's a piece of marble broken in the flooring and I refuse to allow you to fix that scares the brands away. So they have to deal with these nuances, but with the right developer and the right project and setup, you have brands very excited to come, and they're already starting.
Yeah. So I think we'll get there soon.
Absolutely. It's already started, and you'll see a big shift in the next 10 years.
That is great. People are spending money now on, even like we spoke about amenities. Today we have like in our Jagya also, when people ask we want to buy a flat, what are the amenities? That's the first question.
First question.
Like I think it's also in Bombay because because of the traffic. Like if I'm at home, I have to go to a gym somewhere else. I won't be able to get that much time to spend an hour.
Absolutely,
So I
yeah.
want it in my building, so I can do everything in my building and that get to work.
Absolutely. Like yesterday, I was supposed to go about 8 p.m. after work to the gym. And then I had another, I had to step in at a function. Because of traffic, I couldn't reach the gym. So
Yeah.
I reached the gym 45 minutes late. Outside, I realized this is not going to work. Reached my dinner 1 hour late because I had wasted time going to the gym. This is our reality.
Yeah.
And even if it improves slightly, but we have so much construction on the way that it's going to be a little bit of our reality for the next 5 to 7 years. And so, yes, people realize that, look, if I can, as I said, live, work, play, if I can take all these elements and find a way to do it in my building,
Yeah.
there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
And it's very exciting. It's very nice because we are actually seeing an improvement in people's quality of lives
Yes.
in a city as choked as ours.
So you all
you
are
see it
also-
in Bangalore and
Yeah.
Gurgaon. It's easier for them to do it. But
because
in
they
a
have
city
spaces,
like
yeah.
in Mumbai, it's tough.
So are you all also like putting these things in your developments when we talk about real estate residential developments? Are you all incorporating all of these things where you make sure
Absolutely.
there are amenities, everything is
Every project now, and this didn't come naturally to my father or our company, because when they started in the early 90s. This was never a thing.
Yeah.
But every project now, it's all about we huge emphasis on amenities.
Yeah.
Every project.
We spoke about space after COVID and everything. So even in your real estate developments, like earlier there was a trend going on, people living in small spaces. We were selling high skyscrapers, but small houses and everything. And post-pandemic, everybody wants a balcony. Everybody wants a work from home office in their house.
Yeah.
So are you all also giving those floor plans, incorporating everything in your new real estate developments?
Look, depends on the segment. Okay, because there's still keep in mind that while people's demands for space has increased, the prices have gone up a
Yes.
lot in the last few years as well. But you have to be innovative. So if I can't give you, if you can't afford more space in for an office in your home, because your home is 1,000 square feet,
Yeah.
can I give you a space in the building which allows you to go and work and do your
Yeah.
calls privately? And can I give you more outdoor spaces in the building if you don't want to spend that amount for balcony? Because now balconies in Mumbai, of course, come under RERA.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, I want the balcony, but I don't want to pay so much for it. Why should I pay so much per square foot
Exactly.
for an
It's
outdoor
counted as
space,
FI,
right?
yeah.
So can you create those spaces within? But yes, there's been a big shift. We are including amenities in every project, and you have to. I mean, you cannot get away with it anymore. We are also going one level beyond that, and to our point about branded services and residences, we are now tying up with our hospitality partners to say,
Oh.
now you run the services of these buildings.
Oh.
And when we say this to customers, customers get very excited.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, this building has this
Luxury hotel stuff,
hotel
yeah.
operator. Why don't you? We
Yeah.
said, no, we also have it. These people will run it. They will run it. Okay, they trust it.
Yeah.
Because you have a lot of buildings where you had a fantastic product built, and because the societies
yeah.
and the management aren't maintaining it well, you walk
Takes a
into
toll.
those areas and it's completely, it's sad to see,
Yeah,
but it's
no maintenance at all.
completely destroyed. And you don't feel like going to the gym. You go to the gym, you start walking on the treadmill's creaking. What's the
Yeah.
point,
And then you regret paying so much money for it.
Now there's always been a trust issue. And now people are saying, look, we don't always trust the developer, but we trust the brands. And
Yeah.
the brands will not let us down.
Yeah, that is true. So like everybody talks about this, we will also not leave it, AI and technology. So now we live in a world of AI and technology. We cannot
yeah.
go one day without it. So how do you think this technology can be integrated in the hotel business? Let's say, will we see a day where there is contactless check-ins and checkouts, where we don't have to go on the counter, we don't have to go sign, pages, sign all of these things. We can just go check in into our room and something happens.
You already have that.
Yeah, with Airbnbs, we're
Now you
seeing
have
that.
it with hotels. We have it. Most operators have already incorporated that, and some legacy properties have not yet adjusted, but they will. This is just scratching the surface. The level of enhancement to and disruption to the operations of hotels that will come from AI in the next 5 years, we've not even seen that.
Yeah.
And that's going to change a lot of pieces. We're already seeing it now from a pricing and revenue management standpoint. Do you need a team of 2-3 people who are manually looking at the rates every day and saying, okay, look, I have 50 rooms left to sell on this date. I'm going to increase it by 500 rates by 500 rupees. You probably won't need it because you have a software that's just going to use and take data from across the country, across the
Give
city,
it to you in minutes.
and within seconds just say and automatically make those changes. Kind of like what airlines do.
Yeah.
You're already seeing that in hotels. Those machines are going to get smarter and smarter, and you're going to see a huge shift. And what it will mean is you'll have leaner teams on the corporate side of these operations. You'll have more targeted guest experiences, but in India you can't fully get away without the personalized touch.
Yes.
Right, so you still need a labor intensive setup because you need the touch points with guests.
Okay. So when you were in the US, was there any thing that you observed in the real estate market there that you would like to implement in India, or you would like to be the first one to get it in India, or just you would want to see India having that?
Yeah,
That one element.
It's a very interesting question, and I've thought about it a lot because I spent years working at McKinsey, serving some of the largest real estate
Yeah.
developers, owners, investors in the US. We would often meet with their CEOs and run these roundtable sessions to understand what are they thinking about. And every time I heard what concerns them the most, what's top of mind for them, I always thought, in India, I don't think this would even make it to the top
Yeah.
20 concerns. So we are in a different market. It's like night and day in terms of the expectations. But are we going to get there in the next 5-10 years? Yes. So for instance, I'll give you two of the main themes that emerged in my experience that developers and owners and the real estate world is thinking about there. One, sustainability and climate.
Yeah.
Everything from green buildings, and not just you have a green certificate, but your building materials have significantly changed,
Yeah.
and your customers are willing to pay you a premium for that. Efficiently run sustainable buildings, sustainable materials, reducing your climate and carbon impacts significantly.
Yeah.
That is the biggest theme that a lot of the biggest real estate players are thinking about. And the second is data and artificial intelligence. We aren't there yet. We will have to get there soon. We have
Yeah.
no choice, especially on sustainability, especially adopting those practices. We aren't going to be able to wait 20 years before we do that. Keep in mind that 40% of global carbon emissions come from real estate and
That's
construction.
a lot.
40%. Our industry, along with infrastructure, I'm including all of those pieces, we are the biggest emitters globally of carbon. If we do have to find a solution for climate change, if we do have to make significant leapfrogs, if we do have to leapfrog in our to improve, that will come. It cannot happen without our industry. Let me put it that way. We are the most significant players in that. So while we haven't yet reached the point where it's top of mind for us, it's going to happen very soon.
Yeah. So what things are y'all incorporating in your hotel or hotel developments with the sustainability aspect? Are there certain changes that y'all have made? Are there certain, let's say, products that y'all choose for?
Absolutely, absolutely. And now look, there's two parts. One is when you're designing the product, because that itself is that's once you design the product, there's not that much you can do. And then second is once you have a product running in operations, what can we do? In design, materials are changing significantly, right? You are going to see less and less use of traditional marble in your hotels going forward than you did before. And think about it, right? You enter traditional Indian hotels, it's like marble, marble, marble everywhere in your
Yeah.
bathroom. You're going to see different materials being used. You're going to see different building materials being used, especially in your leisure destinations. You will see less typical concrete. You'll see more use of timber, bamboo, more sustainable materials in use.
Those
So
will
the-
also be expensive.
you may have to pay somewhat of a premium, but it depends.
Okay.
It's not always more expensive, but you're seeing a shift, and the shift is being driven a lot by the operators, a lot by the architects, a lot by the designers. So it's pushing the owners and developers to also look at that. So that's on the design and construction side. In operations, we are making, and largely driven by a lot of the efforts of the global operators, lot of changes across the board, and I've seen that ourselves. I mean, our hotel, our asset is the first Green Key certified hotel in the entire country. So we have, we've been rewarded for the work we're doing, but everything from complete removal of single-use plastic, removal of plastic water bottles in our operation, having our own bottling plant for glass reusable bottles, shifting cars for pickup, drops for our guests, not just for airport, wherever they go, shifting of vehicles to electric to a large extent, having our own EV charging stations on site. A lot of different efforts, including also from an energy standpoint.
So let's say sustainability now is not just a trend; it's here to stay.
It's here to stay. Are we there yet? Where we should be? No, but you're seeing the shift come, and I think you'll see it being more and more of a theme in the coming years.
A lot of hotels and everything will pick it up.
Absolutely, not just hotels, across the built environment.
Yeah. So coming from a family with a strong background in real estate, so how do you leverage your real estate expertise with the hotel business? Like, is there anything that helps you? Of course, the development part does, because all bid and everything. But any other lessons that you incorporate, that you learned from the real estate aspect, and that are moved to your?
It's completely integrated. Truly, for us, as if you are a hotel developer, as I said earlier, 80% of your work is 80% of this business is real estate. You have to find the right piece of land. You have to buy the land cheap. You have to build it in cost, build it in time. You have to get all the permissions you need to get. So you are building a building, but it's a different business. So when it comes to design, when it comes to product, when it comes to the business model, unlike residential buildings where you're building to sell quickly and you sell under construction, here you can't sell anything. You can't even sell one room, right, for 4 years while you construct the building. So your business model, your cash flows take a big hit, and you're playing a longer term game. So it's a completely different business model, but a lot of the efforts initially while you're developing are completely the same. And then there's an operations piece, right? The hotel is built, how do you run it? That now depends on different developers. You have a lot of developers and owners who are running it themselves. They say, look, this is my name, I'm putting my name at the door, and I'm going to build a management team and run it. Then you are competing with the Taj, Oberoi's, Leela's, Marriott, Accor hotels of the world. Or you outsource that and you say, okay, I'm going to tie up with a partner like one of these firms and let them do that. In our case, we've chosen the latter. We said we'll play to our strengths, and we'll let the operators play to their strengths.
Okay. So, what do you think is the next big thing that is going to come into hospitality, which like the industry is not prepared for? Do you have any certain thing in mind that you think is going to come? It is going to reach India, but we're not prepared yet.
I think I think you will see. So there's two aspects to it. One, India, as I said, is significantly underpenetrated purely from a hotel room standpoint. You will see a lot of our traditional hotels. You will just see more of them in more cities, more locations. So you're going to see these in tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities. You have more airports being built. As the airports come, you'll have greater connectivity. As the connectivity comes, you have more demand for rooms. As the demand for rooms comes, you'll have more supply.
Yeah.
And this will be just traditional bread and butter supply. You will have that. When you are in markets where there's more competition, you have enough supply, and customers are choosing, you will see more and more concepts. You will see branded residences. You will see service departments. You will be trying to compete with the operators and developers of villas in places like Goa, in places like Alibag, in places where, hill stations across the country. You will now have themes like sustainability and data analytics playing a big role in impacting the hotel operations. And if you don't engage in those practices, you will be left behind. So you have a lot of the big operators spending huge amounts of money to make sure they are ahead of the curve on those things. So you're going to see all of this. I don't think yet in India you're going to have something come and completely disrupt the game, because we still just need basic hotel rooms. We just need more and more of those in many of our big cities and even in our smaller cities.
Okay, so Harsh, I want to know, so like being healthy is the mantra for this generation. Like specifically in Bandra, we see so many cafes that are gluten-free, keto, a lot of diets and everything. They cater to specific needs and demands.
Yeah.
How do you think this is going to impact the hotel industry when it comes to their restaurants that they have and everything? Because I think the shift is real for now. Like people are moving towards healthy. So do you think hotels are going to incorporate this into their...
Yeah, 100%. So 100%. We have been forced to adapt our menus to, in some cases, say, okay, look, this is a completely vegan menu, or this is a gluten-free menu. You're forced to incorporate dishes that cater to that audience. But also, what you're seeing is broader than that. It's and not just for a more health-conscious customer. You're just seeing a disruption in the hotel F&B demand and business. Traditionally, you had, when you're going out for a meal with your family, you're celebrating your birthday, you're going out for lunch, you're going out for dinner, your families would go and say, okay, these are the 3 hotels where we love the food and we're just going to go and we want that same experience and we want it again. So we go to that. When I was growing up, we'd go to the same places and the same hotels for our Sunday lunch and a Saturday dinner, and it was simple. Now you're seeing a huge amount of competition from independent standalone restaurants. And you're seeing a customer that says, no, I don't want to go to the hotel again and eat the same food. I want to try a new restaurant. I want to try a new restaurant next week. And the week after, when we go for dinner, we try another new restaurant.
Yeah.
And so we want to go and experience different things. And so we are in the Instagram generation. People are seeing these influencers
food
bloggers and influencers put up posts about certain restaurants. People are sharing it and saying, look, we have to go to this restaurant.
Restaurants have got a lot of visibility because of
huge visibility, and saying, look, we want to go to that restaurant in Bandra and we want to try it out. I'm not going to come to a hotel. The number of times people tell me, Harsh, we're not coming to Sofitel. We want to go and try out like one of the 50 new restaurants that have opened in BKC. And that is something that's a big threat to the traditional hotel business, because hotels by nature, it's a rooms business that also used to have F&B. Can the core competency that the hotel operators are very good at is rooms. Some of them good at F&B. Are they going to be as innovative as some of these chefs who are coming with, unique modern Indian menus, fusion menus, unique experiences, 12-course meals with just 12-seater restaurant, like you now have in places like Bandra, new concepts. Are you going to be able to compete as effectively? I'm a little worried for the hotel operator. But it's a nice shift because from a customer standpoint, you now have so much more variety. You have so many options, and you have a customer base that wants to just try out a new thing every time.
Yeah. I think it's here to stay also, because the level that the new restaurants or cafes are opening, and actually the cafe is more trending because of the coffee and because of everything they've made, especially Bandra. We go out every day.
Yeah. And you will see a trend more and more where you'll have hotels say that, look, we're going to keep our all-day dining restaurant where people are coming. That's our coffee shop. That's in some cases, in our case, 24 hours. You come there for breakfast and you can come 5 a.m. and they'll serve you food. We're going to keep that, and we're going to keep one more outlet. And then, you outsource some of the other F&B to operators outside. And these are operators who are going to come with a nice fan following, a different cuisine. Either they have a brand that's worked well in another part of the city or country and they're bringing it, or they're coming up with a new concept. But they have such a loyal following that the following comes and increases the footfalls for the hotel.
Yeah, I think that would be nice. So before we move on to the fun part, there's this one question is basically for the audience. So for people getting into this business or real estate development, what are the three things that are the necessities? And the second part is, what are the three lessons that you learned in your journey which are very helpful in this real estate market?
Yeah, so you said three necessities in the business. I'd say one, it's a business which requires a lot of hustle. Okay, it's not a standard business. And I'm myself trying to learn the nuances every day. The regulations are a big piece of it. They keep changing. Permitting is a big piece of it. It's not always the most comfortable. You have all kinds of nuances that you have to deal with and all kinds of stakeholders. So it's a business that requires a lot of hustle. Two, it's right now especially more commoditized. Okay, and so you need to have a unique brand that people are comfortable with, because otherwise you have so much competition from the large developers. A lot of them have gone public. A lot of them have big brands, and they're all competing for the same assets, the same projects, the same redevelopment projects. Now in Mumbai, you have a redevelopment, every building, not every building, but a lot of buildings now increasingly saying, okay, we want to go for redevelopment.
Yeah.
As soon as they have a tender come out, some of them are getting hundreds of bids, hundreds of developers going. So what makes you unique is going to be very important. We are more of a commoditized business than we were before. And three, I think there's, as we discussed, you're going to have far better and more imaginative products than you did before. And you're going to have to cater to guest experiences more in the way that a hotel does than you ever had to do before. So that's the third piece. The three lessons for me, one is it's been I've had to eat humble pie coming back, thinking that, look, a lot of the lessons I learned abroad in real estate will translate to India. It just does not. We are a very unique market. And there's so many nuances that you have to understand. You kind of have to unlearn and relearn a lot of things. And I'm going through that process myself and will for the next few years. So that's a big one. The second piece is that, look, there will be aspects of the business that you aren't as good at or as comfortable with. And you have to find a way to address that while focusing on what you are strong at. So that's another piece that I'm going through, where I say, okay, look, I want to learn these aspects, but I know that I will never, ever be able to do this as well as most other people in the business. In the business, so I have to hire the right people. I have to partner with the right people to be able to get those parts done, while I focus on my strong suits. And three, financing and capital is the name of the game. Being able to, in a more commoditized market, being able to access more capital and cheaper capital is what's giving a big differentiation to a lot of people. We're lucky, we're seeing a little bit more institutional interest now than we ever did before. And we have to find a way to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I think those are 3 great lessons. I hope it helps. So now let's move on to the fun part. It's a little rapid fire round where you have to select between things that I say, and then we'll end it with that. Okay, so are you ready?
Yeah, ready.
Okay. Favorite hotel you've stayed besides Sofitel?
In India or abroad?
Anywhere.
I love, there's a Mandarin Oriental in Lake Como, which I really loved.
Okay. New York or Mumbai?
Oh, tough one. When I lived in New York, I missed Mumbai. When I live here, I miss New York. So it's a very hard one. 50-50, yeah.
Okay. Room service or dining out?
Dining out.
Okay. Easy check-in or late check-in? Early check-in or late check-in?
For me, early check-in.
Early check-in. Favorite amenity at Sofitel BKC?
The spa is special.
Okay. A luxury item you cannot live without?
A watch.
Okay. Best advice you've ever received?
Oh, tough one.
Yeah.
My manager she had on her desk a quote that says, if you improve anything by 1% every day, you will end the year 37 times better. And that has always stayed with me.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, right? I'm a competitive guy in different fields. Okay, so even if I'm playing tennis with my friends or paddle tennis or something, I want to compete. But in any field, if it's quite stark to me that if you can just improve
1%
marginally every day, by the end of the year, you will be so much better.
Yeah.
Right. And that's quite cool to see.
That is a great advice. Yeah. Listen to this, guys.
No, I'm not saying I follow it. I'm just saying
always try.
I'm just saying I heard it and I like it.
We can always try. Okay. So a mountain retreat or a beach resort?
Beach for me. Yeah.
So Goa is
not just
near
Goa.
the beach?
Yeah.
Are you all planning to build the...
Yeah, we'll be on a beach. But I love the water.
Yeah. So most memorable guest experience if you have, or if you've heard of from your operator?
Well, for me, it's the one I mentioned already, where people have gone out of their way to reduce my stress and anxiety.
That is great. So if you could describe Sofitel BKC in one word, what would it be?
Well, we're a French hotel, so I will say magnifique.
Oh, that's great. It was a very, very good, I think, episode. I'm sure my audience would get
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being a part of this, and we are very excited to see how your development in Goa turns out and how many more coming hotels turn out. So
we'll
thank you so much for coming.
Hopefully things work out that way, but no, it was a pleasure speaking to you and I really enjoyed it.
I hope you enjoyed the episode as much as we enjoyed in shooting it. So please show us your support, subscribe, follow, like, share, and also hit the bell icon for more.